Hi. Nobody
Yo,
watching. I was just telling our guest today who I'll introduce in a second how nobody watches this. So
put me at ease. Put me at ease.
but welcome to Lockdown Lunch with me, Kelly Ransom, coming to you live from Boston, Massachusetts, Roslindale specifically. If you're new to this for some reason, thank you for watching. I started this broadcast on April 1st, and it wasn't an April Fool's joke once I realized that I was going to be locked down for a while and I needed an excuse to put on clothes every day. But also to share stories of people's different experiences during all of this, because everyone is having a radically different time than everyone else. So, with that said, I would like to introduce to you my good friend David Lightfoot Bellow. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I've been eagerly awaiting an invite to this show, and I'm happy that I'm finally here.
Oh, you know the right things to say.
Work.
So David's in Jamaica Plain, and he is a music producer and a youth worker. So we're going to talk all about what that is like today. Yeah. So I have to know, though, what day is it?
It is Wednesday, right?
I think you're right.
Yeah. I think it's Wednesday. But
right.
It feels eternally like Saturday, so whatever.
So, how did it go down for you?
Yeah, I think it was like elongated for me because apparently I was like worried about this from like way earlier on. Because I'm always on Twitter. I'm always like spending way too much time on Twitter and like digging through conspiracies and digging through random articles that pop up. And I follow way too many people who are so cooked and involved in like, spreading misinformation and sometimes accurate information. So I was like, I got wind of this happening really early on, and I'm already like a germaphobe to some degree, pretty heavily in some ways, and like really absent in other ways. Like I leave food around everywhere, whatever. So I was concerned about this apparently from like December.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, it's like, but I didn't prepare obviously. But I was like, all right, word, this is something that'll probably be a thing. But I didn't expect it to be like this. But so like that, it was at the start of this was all pretty crazy for me because my mom had some pretty serious surgery happen to her like the week everything kind of like shut down.
That's so wild.
And before that, luckily she's healthy and like good and got back in shape and everything, which is great. But before that, I was teaching this high school and middle school program called the HipHop Transformation, which we'll talk about later. And I was doing that and in addition to that, also teaching at the ICA. So I was doing 5 days a week, teaching at the Cambridge Community Center and then teaching at the ICA. And the week before everything shut down, we were all like, things got really strange, and the ICA started having like, we had Clorox wipes everywhere. We had protocols for when the kids came in and all this other stuff. Cambridge Community Center didn't really have that because we were a little bit behind. And I remember that Thursday, I went out. We didn't really have, no kids came to the after school program because I think they all were like, all right, this is something crazy is about to happen. And I remember I walked outside with one of my coworkers for like a half an hour. We were just talking, and it was almost like in that half-hour window, everybody at the center got word that they had to shut down, and they all left. And I had like food in the fridge, and I had like things and like that I needed to grab, and the doors were locked, and I couldn't get in. So like, and I was like,
oh my God.
And then I haven't been back to the center since. So that was what, 7 weeks ago at this point. I don't know, maybe longer. And that was sort of like the moment where I was like, yep. And then I got an email the next day from the ICA being like, yeah, we're shutting off. Like, we're not doing any more programming. Like, museums closed until further notice. And then I got a text from Darren, who runs the CCC, and was like, yeah, we're closing our doors. We only have like immediate, like a staff who need to be here. So I was like, damn, that's crazy. And then in addition to all that, my mom had to go into surgery that Friday. So it was like me panicking about my mom.
That is so stressful.
Yeah, so it was wild, but also very lucky because my mom, had she waited like a little bit longer, she would have, like, who knows how that would have complicated things.
Right.
But then she was out of surgery that Saturday, and yeah, I got her home, and then that was kind of like, that was me venturing to the grocery store and grabbing things for her,
Yeah.
and sort of before realizing at that point that everything was like wild and like things were limited, and this was before queues really started happening in grocery stores. So like,
Yeah.
they were super packed grocery stores and like really uncomfortable settings, and like I didn't really have a mask yet, so it was all it was all weird. But yeah.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's about as not as fun as yours, I guess, but
Nothing will ever be as fun as my escaping Florida. Well, I'm glad that your mom's doing good, and now you're home, right? You're just locked down.
Yeah, totally locked down. I haven't, like, aside from hitting a grocery store, and I actually built a studio desk, so I've been going to Home Depot a little bit. But aside from those like very small things where I have like my latex gloves and I have my masks and all that stuff, like, and then I'm like even groceries, like when we're bringing them into the house, we have like a whole process of like decontaminating everything,
wiping them down.
Yes. Oh yeah, heavy wipes, like making sure that like things aren't touching the fridge until we feel like they're ready to get in there. So it's like a whole weird, it's a whole thing, but it makes us feel safer, and like we can, it's just, it is what it is. But
no, I do it, and I don't care I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what my neighbors think when they see me outside doing it. I don't.
Yep, exactly.
Like, yep, I'm wiping down this cat food. I don't care.
Dude, hell yeah. Well, I'm very aware of like touching, like what I touch now, and like how that gets affected and everything. It also makes me realize how like completely dirty we all are, and like how dirty my phone is and all that shit. So thank God, my bad. I didn't mean to swear, but yeah.
I am completely. I almost feel like I've developed a phobia of, not within my house, but of doorknobs or door handles. Like, it makes me want to, like, I like gag if I have to.
Yes.
Touch one right now. I have gloves on when I go out, but like,
I have like a big anxiety now of like, yo, who touched this car handle while like I was sleeping? Who's like going, like people are going around and touching car handles right now. Like that's just how I feel. Like no handle is safe. Yeah, so it's wild.
I was always a germaphobe before too, but now I'm like, I've peaked at the highest level of germaphobe I can be.
Yeah, peak germaphobes for sure. Yeah,
it's a good time for us right now. But so you're a music producer. Yeah. You're an award-winning music producer. I don't know why you left that out of your like bio.
I never phrased it like that, but that sounds really cool. That's gonna now be in the bio. Award-winning music producer.
Hell yeah. You won a Boston Music Award. That's like a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, it is a big deal, I guess. Yeah.
So you left it out, and I was like, no. Okay, I'm mentioning that because that's a big deal, and that's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
But so I know that. I think I know that you usually make your music like already like at a home studio, right?
Yeah.
So how have you had to but then you go out and perform, so that's probably had to change. How have you had to adapt making music and playing music during all of this?
Yeah, I think, like you said, a majority of the music that I make is in my home studio. So really, in that aspect, not much has changed.
Yeah.
I think the biggest change is something that's happening kind of internally, and I think is happening with a lot of people, a lot of artists I know internally, which is like this sort of weird combination of having really a lot of time, but not having the mental space or like the mental clarity to really like do anything. I'm still like making, like creating every day, but like to say that I was creating at the rate before all this was happening is, like I just wasn't. I'm not. So, it's harder for me to like stay focused and sit down and like really make like a lot of music. But for me, it's important to at least like get some creative outlet out there. But yeah, as far as me creating, it hasn't really hindered much. In fact, like this whole like staying inside thing is like what I do.
It's what you do.
Yeah, like I'm kind of made for it. I'm also super introverted, so it like works for me. But but the live performance thing is a total, it's a total drag.
Yeah.
And like part of being a musician in this scene is like supporting your fellow musicians, right? So like a lot of it isn't just me performing, it's me being able to go to my homie's show and support him and see him rock, and then support like Razen's like Nightworks showcase, and like being able to like help put the scene on by just attending things. So like all that has been totally disrupted. But with that said, it's allowed for weird internet kind of like what you're doing with this show. And like I've been performing at like I performed at a lo-fi fest like 2 weeks ago that was run on Twitch, and I was like, yeah, word, I agreed to it. I was like, there's gonna be like 3 people here, and it turned out there were like the whole weekend they had, I think, like 15,000 people tuned in.
What?
When I was rocking, we had like 250 people live. It was wild. And like I was not expecting that, and also kind of like was not expecting to have like the sort of goosebumps and the butterflies in my stomach before I performed.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Really strange, and like more so than I have now performing in front of people. Like it was just like it's like I feel like when you're in a crowd, you have all these other distractions, and like people aren't going to be 100%.
And there's energy that you can feel.
Yeah, but when you're online, it's like you're mad exposed. Like it is just you on a person's screen, and like who knows, like it's just weird. But
so I don't feel. I mean, I'm not performing. This isn't an art. Like
I would say that it might be an art, but
I don't feel like I'm putting myself out there and being like vulnerable and like showing my creativity or whatever. But
fair.
I just don't feel that. But that's so interesting. I wonder if I bet other artists feel that too. Then.
Yeah, I could just be a nervous wreck too. I don't know.
No, David.
But yeah, I don't know. That was the weirdest thing to me, because I was like, I mean, I guess I feel that way even before. Like it's like I feel like everything is like pre-coronavirus and then post-coronavirus. But even pre-coronavirus, Instagram lives, like before I would go live, I would be like, all right, cool, So I don't know. I guess I've always been slightly. It's a I don't know. It's a weird thing. I guess maybe it is something about like, will I just do something terrible like with my music, and it will be like forever logged like,
I don't think so.
Internet history. So I mean, but like, whether it happens or not, these are just things that like will always go through my mind.
I've seen some pretty big artists putting out live streams and stuff like that right now, like huge artists, and they're not doing that good either. Like.
Well, that's been the kind of, for me, the weirdest kind of realization, which is that, I've been doing streaming for a long time. Right now, my HDMI cord broke, so I'm on my webcam and I'm on my like laptop microphone, so the quality is.
Oh, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, but I have like a DSLR camera that's like and a capture card and all this stuff. So I've been streaming and getting my like setup ready for that for a couple of years now. And it's funny that now you have like you said, big celebrities and big artists who are performing with like the shittiest quality stuff, and it's like damn, it's such an equalizer in really bizarre ways. And then I have homies who like have no following, and then like kill the live stream stuff, and like have all these cool overlays, kind of like what you have going on, right? Like these little things like that kind of like really.
Well, you did like, or you might still be doing it, but you put the YouTube videos with the green screen, right? Or is that Instagram?
No, that was both. Yeah,
that was way before this, and that's cool as hell. Like
yeah, it was that became more of a nuisance than anything else. But
well, you were doing like everyday stuff. It felt like you were doing something new every day. Like that's a lot of work.
It is. I mean, I think. To that, it's not sustainable and it burns you out. And that's what happened to me. I just was like, dude, I can't. This is just ridiculous. Who am I doing it for? It's nice, but like you can't, unless you have like a team of people who are like, all right, I'll set up the green screen, I'll do this, you
Yeah.
just get in front of things, then it makes it easier. But yeah, it's tough to do that, I guess, on your own constantly.
That's why I put an end date to this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't know when I'm going to end it now. I'm like, no, this is over May 20th. Perhaps I will go towards doing one a week or something. Because I do like doing it. But, like, I'm doing this every day. Like, it's great. I'm not going to... But, like, I'm not over it either because I'm really excited to have everyone who I have scheduled on to come on. But, like, you know, it's time to come up with something new, even though it's only been a month.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I commend your consistency. That's like, it is not easy, yo. It is not easy. Well, you're doing one every day of the work week, is that right?
Yeah, so my lunch break at work, I would take at 12 o'clock. So at 12 o'clock, I take my lunch break and then I usually hop off this and go right into a meeting or something. And then I work till, it's great. It's so much fun.
Right, so you're still actively working, right?
Yeah, I'm working from home, 9 to 5. I call it 9 to 5 plus, but yeah, it's been fun.
Cool, that's good. Well, I'm happy that that's the case, you know.
So tell me about the HipHop Transformation, because you're still working with them.
Yes.
And you've been working with them for a long time.
Yeah, almost 7 years now, I think.
Holy crap. No one knows what that is. I'm just kidding. But tell everyone who's watching.
You're right, they don't. So for those who don't know, which is everybody, what the HipHop Transformation is it's a high school and now middle school based program kind of built around social and emotional learning through the lens of hip hop, particularly music. And it started off as a summer-based program, so we were running it. I think it started off as just 4 weeks, and then it ended up being like 6 or 7 weeks throughout the summer. And it would start around somewhere like in July, and it would end in August. And through the duration of the summer, we would have a group of 14 to 20 young people, specifically high schoolers, come through to what eventually became the Bridge Sound and Stage, but before it was like the basement of the Cambridge Community Center. And we would have them basically come together, learn about hip hop, learn about the history of hip hop, and then teach them how to make beats, teach them how to record themselves, teach them how to write songs. And then we started recording all those songs, and by the end of the summer, they had a whole album, usually way more. They would have like 34. And last summer, we had like 50 tracks that they recorded.
Damn.
And they would be engineered. And this is in like the Bridge, which is like a full-scale recording studio, like a really nice studio. And a majority of the time, it was being engineered by those young people themselves, their peers engineering their other peers.
So amazing.
Yeah, it's really dope program. And then kind of in between the summer, we have performances at various locations, and then the final deliverable of the summer is like the end of the summer showcase. So like these young people are coming in, so a lot of them never making music before in their life.
Oh wow!
And then leaving with 6, 7, 8 songs per person, and then learning how to perform those, and then learning how to perform it in a context of a group, and then learning how to do all sorts of other things, how to promote your show, how to promote your album. So it's a really beautiful program. And now this year was the first year that we provided year-round programming for all the high schoolers too. And then also this was the first year that we provided a middle school program partnered with Putnam Ave Upper School based out of Cambridge. So it's like, it's one of the, I think this is the case with a lot of people. We had a lot of momentum going this year, and it was like we could just see so many things aligning, and like our vision for how we wanted the program to be, and sort of seeing like where the program might end up next year, and all this stuff was like exciting. And then it sort of just got.
And then it's like slap in the face.
Pretty much, yeah. So, yeah, but with that said, it's an incredible program. I work with incredibly talented people, incredibly talented youth workers, incredibly talented artists, from Darren Cordy to Flash to Red Shades to Kwame to Eric, even to like our artists that we constantly have come on and talk to the young people, like Cliff Notes, Oompa, Uncle Sam. Like the list goes on and on and on of like the number of artists that we have in Boston who constantly support our program.
It's
and are always,
great though. Those programs didn't exist when we were kids. Like nothing like that.
No, and it's incredible. And to see how quick they pick up, and eventually, and it really, like, it's a cliche thing to say, but like they really end up teaching you way more. Like they learn so fast, and you're just like, yo, how are you already better than me? But even like thanks to you for like having us on with BNN. Was that right? Like,
oh my gosh, that was so fun. Yeah. What's her name? Talia?
Yes, Talia.
She's so talented.
And she's now like in Atlanta doing the thing. Like she's like making music and like doing the thing. So like, and I think that our place is never to be like, yeah, we allowed them to do that. We're now like, because of us, they are right there. But we gave them we allowed them to like explore these like, I guess alternative creative spaces. And it's when you see a young person lock in and sort of like take away and just start, running with it.
Yeah.
There's nothing more rewarding than that. Yeah, it's really, really cool. So.
Do most of the youth continue on like continue on in like hip hop afterwards, or?
Some of them do. Not everyone. One of the things that we've been really mindful of with building out the program is trying to create a way for, so the Hip Hop Transformation is based it's a program run through what's called the Mayor's Youth Programming. And Mayor's Youth Programming is an initiative within Cambridge that allows young people in high school to get paid doing summer jobs. And those jobs range from anything from janitorial work to gardening to like parkour. And TWHT was one of the programs that we pitched and it locked in.
So great.
Yeah. And so with that said, like not every person who applies for the TWHT program wants to be in there. So it's like you kind of like you put your top 3 choices and then it works on like a rally type of thing.
Yeah. I get it.
And so, yeah, so I don't know. We have some kids who come in, they just hate it and they don't want to be music. But with that said, we have like now we've been mindful of it. So now it's like they may not want to make music, but maybe they like managing side of things. So maybe they, we've had some who end up leaving and they do like theatrical stage management and like a totally different like context, but they got the groundwork by figuring out how to maneuver things around for a final showcase at the end of the summer. Or now photographers who took photos for like that was their job throughout the summer. So it's been a cool way of like, providing, showing that. Then that's what I think we mean by like through the context of hip hop, which is you can like
it's the whole ecosystem. Like
yeah. Really all sorts of different skills and so I could go on and on about
Well, are you still engaging with the youth right now during all of this? Is the program still going on, or?
Yeah, we are. I actually have a TWHT Zoom meetup this afternoon. But we've kind of decreased the amount of time that we're doing it. We were doing it basically 5 days a week before this happened, and then coronavirus happened, and now we do 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, from 3 to 3:30 to about 7, and we do it all through Zoom. It's been its own level of complication of figuring out how to make it work. I think at first it was just providing an opportunity for the kids to talk to one another, just hang out in like space, because that's kind of what it was. Even in real time, it was them like they were recreating, but they were coming in and they were hanging out together and they were building
friendship.
Yes, exactly. And it really is that. So kind of like since then it's evolved a little bit more into us trying to figure out how to make it like an enriching program instead of it just being them hanging out, which is good. Like that is totally valuable and needs to happen. But like, but there also needs to be like, we need to make it so it's not just something that they could do like on their phone or something like that, and just be like, yo, I don't need to be here. I'll just call them up and like hang with them,
Right.
So we've been implementing like we've been having guests come on. We've been doing like beat challenges. So like I throw a sample out and we all like try to make a beat in a half hour and see like, and we like listen and we all judge like who wins or whatever.
That's cool.
One of the coolest thing that we've been doing is with Zoom, you can do remote control access. So like I can give you control to like move my mouse around and click things. So we've been like legitimately collabing on beats. So I've been like, I throw up my Ableton, I'll start making a little something, and then I'll toss it off to like one of our.
Oh my God, that's really cool.
Yeah. So, so like yesterday or Monday, two of our producers just like collabed on a beat remotely. They were just like kept tossing it back and forth, and we've been releasing singles every week. So that'll be our single that we released this week. Is like a totally internet collab joint with like that they made in Zoom, made it in these kind of TWHT things. So
that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's been really cool. It's, I've been in a lot of meetings with other nonprofits and other like youth organizations who are just trying to figure out what to do. And, I think we're in a weird position where, it's to me, the weirdest thing is like no one's thought about this until now. No one thought, and like college is one thing, but like high school students and like even middle school students, like how do you keep them engaged? And they're so burnt out from school. Like they're getting a lot of homework now. Kind of like how you said 9 to 5 plus. It's like, it's like that for them. I think like teachers are overcompensating because they're like, they don't see them in person, so they feel like they have to give them more work or something like that.
Well, now I think no one's getting like held back either. Like everyone's kind of getting passed on to the next year regardless.
Yeah. And like, I'm sure, I mean, I think you probably are more Zoom, like way more like Zoom type meetings than I am. Oh. It's hard. Yeah. It must be hard, and like really, like I'd imagine it's tiresome to some degree.
I hate them. Yeah. I hate them. I tell everyone I hate them. I openly hate them. It's fine. Yeah. I'm going to take that hate and figure out a way to make it better and not suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's possible, but.
Yeah, I think it's also a limitation of the platform itself, And there
are other platforms out there, so.
Yeah, are you using anything else other than Zoom? I'm curious, or is it just?
Zoom is what my work is using, so I'm using it.
Yeah.
StreamYard, which we're on right now for stuff like this. Cool. I really want to explore more. Mm-hmm. And then I've done a little bit of Google Hangouts. I don't know, like I haven't had enough time to see fully what's out there yet to be like, this is the thing that I'm going to be doing like events on. So right now it's just going to be Zoom.
Cool.
It's kind of like overnight became this universal thing that everyone has and is using.
Yes. Yeah.
So you want to meet people where they're at, of course, but.
That's true. That's really well said.
I'm also hoping like other platforms that we've already been using in like sort of the event world kind of get with it and come up with something like Eventbrite. We use that for everything. I've been using that for years, but it's like a ticketing kind of, Eventbrite. Like it's for ticketing. But I feel like places like that will come up with something more innovative to make performances and events and stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just like waiting.
Yeah, I think that, there's a lot to be upset about in this situation. But then there's a lot of like kind of cool things. You're like, damn, this is really the Wild Wild West right now. And people like don't know what they're doing. And it allows for so much innovation and so much possibilities.
That's my main, like, that's the main thing keeping me going right now, and like the hope that I'm having. This sucks and it doesn't have to suck. Yeah. We don't know how to make it not suck right now yet.
Yes.
Everyone's just out there throwing out ideas until they stick to the wall, and like it's kind of cool. It's like the dawn of a new art performance event era. Like
Yeah, and with as much like, there's also just more access now. One of the things that we've been realizing with TWHT is we have issues with like scheduling people that come in, but that's not a problem anymore because everything's like at home. And obviously you still want to respect the whole like, you may not be doing anything right now, and that doesn't mean that you're also now, because you're not doing anything, available to now come and talk to the kids. There needs to still be that respect. But it allows us to access, and then also like now allows us to access people in and out of the state or even the country. And have it, and
like celebrities probably maybe.
Yeah, like I think that's kind of it. Like the access is now gone, and that's something that like Twitter. I remember when Twitter first started coming around, that was the crazy thing about Twitter is you could hit up anybody.
Yeah, I love that. I love the beginning of Twitter.
And that's kind of like this now. I think people, like celebrities, are like, oh yeah, fuck, I'm not, like, I'm no different than you. I'm literally stuck at home. I mean, granted, like they're probably in like a mansion.
I'm a bazillionaire, but
yeah, but it's no different. They're still like under the same restrictions, kind of. I mean, obviously, it gets a little, whatever. I won't even get into all that, but it gets crazy. But yeah, interesting.
So you're saying the Zoom collaborating, that's a really cool idea, but are there other ways that you've been able to creatively collaborate without being in a room with someone?
Yeah, I mean, well, I've been using sort of so this is like one of the tricky things we've been finding, or it's like a limitation with Zoom is, the Zoom's audio is just so trash, and even if you're doing internal routing, because it's so important to have like your music sounding, it's like you shouldn't just have like your beats coming through your microphone on your computer, like, so it's just like it's tough. And so even when you're like internally routing your audio through Zoom, it still has all these weird issues. I remember when I was talking to you about that show that very first Zoom show.
Oh yeah, how did it go?
It went really cool, but the audio was like kicking in and out because of like the gates and the compressors and the limiters within the algorithm of Zoom, which is just like an audio limitation, which they didn't build it for like music stuff.
Right. So someone has to do that.
Right, exactly. So like I've been using a combination of like Twitch and Zoom, which is like I have like my audio routing through Twitch, which will be like the high quality audio, and I'll be like making a beat. And this is like, we still have to work it out more, but when we first started doing the TWHT Zoom meetings, I'd be on Twitch and be like, all right, yo, I'm making a beat, but if you want to hear it, just go over to Twitch and listen to it, and I'll still be here in our Zoom meeting, kind of like going back and forth, and it ended up being like cumbersome and not like.
Yeah, that sounds like a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it was. It was not a pain in the ass. But like, I saw, and that's in the context of like doing things like in person in real time, which has lag issues and all sorts of limitations that I'm like, either we need a software that figures it out, or I have to figure out a system that makes it better.
Yeah, exactly.
But the other, as far as music goes, like we've been like, the music world was already collaborating remotely. Like I can't. So many collabs that I've done in the past year have been, yo, I just like laid something down, I'm gonna send it back to you, and then all right, I just laid something down, I'll send it back to you. It's almost the norm instead of being able to do it in person. And being real time isn't necessarily that important anymore, because unless you're like working with an artist like who is like recording like a vocal on your track.
Yeah.
And I know artists who've been doing it successfully, but yeah, I mean, as far, to me, it hasn't changed. Like really, nothing has changed other than the in-person like stuff that needs to stay consistent, like TWHT, like how to make that work the right way.
Right.
Everything else has been, everything else is kind of the same. Like the way I would collaborate with somebody remotely is the same now than it was before. But
lucky.
Yes, I am super lucky. I'm not a person who deals with the physical, like with the physical world. Like it's all very, I mean, yeah, it's all digital. Like my piano is all digital. So I can only imagine, I feel bad for people who are, like engineers who work at recording studios who need to like, who get paid to record people.
Right.
That's scary, or people who,
I never even actually thought about that. But
Yeah, or like a potter who needs like a studio to work in, or
Right.
the weird thing that I've been thinking about is like are like bodybuilders or people who are obsessed with like staying fit and like need like all this crazy equipment, especially like people in like Manhattan. Like I've been thinking about, man, this is the weirdest shit. I don't know why, but like I've been
You're
thinking
worried about
about
the
like,
bodybuilders?
Manhattan bodybuilders, like big dudes who just like
David.
who just eat a lot and fart a lot and work out all the time, who just obsessed about it, and then all of a sudden they can't go to gyms, and then
I mean, yeah, we're all like,
yeah, it's just a weird concept. Like the physical world, like those limitations are tough, and I am super fortunate that I don't have sort of those restrictions on me.
how are the youth holding up? Are they in pretty good spirits, or?
Yeah, they're ready to go back to school. Like they like aren't enjoying like you can only play so many video games. You can only play, we're dealing with a specific kind of young person, which is a person who also has a hobby, which is like making music or
Right.
doing something like that. So they're fortunate because they have that. But they're burnt out. Like I hear it all the time. They're like, yo, I gotta hop off early. I have like so much homework I have to do. Or like, oh, yo, I had so much homework that I had to do like yesterday or like even earlier today. And all of them hate online classes. They just hate it.
They suck.
Yeah, I can't. And like we have some seniors and who graduate on May 29th. And I'm like, dude, how are you like I know how I was when I was like actually going to school, and I wasn't going to school as a senior, let alone if I had online courses during a pandemic.
Right.
Hell no, I'm not going to class.
I'm done.
Yeah, like no way. But like young people are mad resilient. Like that's like they're gonna be fine. They'll be fine. I think we put a lot of weight on feeling like we put a lot of weight on ourselves, and I'm speaking very generally. But also as I'd imagine as like a parent, you put a lot of weight on yourself for being like, I have to make this time as valuable and worthwhile for my kid as possible. But really, you just need to, people just need to breathe and like have a moment to breathe.
Just keep them alive, like.
But I don't know. It's
the main thing you have to do as a parent: keep the kid alive, and then everything else.
That's so real. That's so
falls under that. So.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I don't have kids, and I'm not having kids, but I know that you got to just keep it alive.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what's one of the first things that you want to do when this is all over? Should things go back to semi-normal?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because I probably still won't be doing these things comfortably for a while, but
in your wildest going back fantasy.
Yeah. Let's just say everything went back to normal, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we were just kidding." There was no.
Just kidding.
I probably going to a show and being able. All right, so like this would be it, right? Like going out to dinner, grabbing a drink, meeting up with some homies at the bar room, having a drink, and then all of us going to a show and then just hanging out until like 5 a.m. That to me is like, and then like, but like mad people. That's ideal to me. But now the sort of my dream.
All of that's illegal now. So.
Right. And it won't happen for a while. And I have homies who like work for Live Nation who are like, yeah, we're not doing anything for like literally like the fall is a wash, and we're maybe gonna think about winter bookings. But so like to put in the context, that's where we're at, right? We're not doing in-person programming this summer. It'll be all virtual. So like there's always, but anyways, it gets dark real quick when I start talking.
It does.
But yeah, I think it's now just like, for me, it's more just like, I would love to just have like a barbecue of friends with like 10, 15 people, like that type of like, that's just all I want now. Just to be able to like hang out with homies again and feel okay about it, or family, like whatever that might be.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know.
It sounds like a fun ass night.
What about you? What is something that you?
My answer changes like every day. Let's see. Today, if the first thing that I could do, I don't know. Like Go to a bar? I don't know. Like, I'm wicked introverted. I'm a homebody. When I'm out, I'm doing my job, I'm very extroverted and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I don't miss too much. I don't know. I'd go to a bar and I'd do a shot and then I'd figure the rest out.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's good. That works.
And I'd go to the Galway.
Word.
And get a hot dog basket, yeah.
Dude, I did not know they had hot dog baskets at the Galway, yo.
$7.
Damn.
Yo.
I've never seen anybody eat a hot dog basket there, but damn. All right, cool.
You don't go to the Galway with me enough, because that's like my life.
You're right about that.
So, obviously, you consume music for your life, but are you watching any movies or TV or reading books or listening to podcasts or anything that you would recommend for other people during this?
I wish I could say I've been reading books. I have not been. I wish I could say I've been listening to enriching podcasts, but I have not been.
Totally fair.
But I've been on YouTube heavy, like a lot, watching like so many cooking like channels.
Really?
And then also like a combination of cooking channels, and then also I've been cooking. Food has been what I've been doing. Yeah. So I ran through Good Eats because that's my shit, and like they finally have it all on streaming. So I watched all that, and then found out that Alton Brown has actually been doing his own Good Eats on YouTube, like his own production, and like posting, and then also doing live streams. And he's fucking nuts right now, yo. So like it's been really cool. I've been watching just a lot of random cooking channels, and then also like kind of like travel food channels. This dude Mark Weems, who is just like goes to Thailand and all this other stuff.
I didn't know you were into food like that.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I used to like. I always say that like Food Network.
Although you did catch me, you got me onto Action Bronson.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's a great one. Yeah, like Vice did a really good job of making that cool, I think. But yeah, I've been rewatching a lot of Munchie stuff, rewatching a lot of Action Bronson stuff. Like always Kill Hot Ones. Like I'm always watching that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. And then just like movies and I don't know. Really,
old ones, nude ones, crappy ones.
All of the above. Tons of horror movies, like a lot of horror movies and sci-fi movies. Probably the coolest one the coolest series that I watched recently was War of the Worlds, which is on, I think it's like an Amazon Prime show. But it's,
I didn't know they made that.
I didn't either, and it's fire. It is like really like brutal and fire, and like really.
Is it based off the book?
Yes.
Oh, word.
I believe so, at least. I didn't read the book.
Oh, I love that stuff.
It's really cool, and like what is even more crazy is next door to my mom's house is one of the like main guys at Boston Dynamics, which is like those like robot dogs.
Yeah, the robot dogs, right?
And War of the Worlds, like the robot alien things are like built by, like literally designed by Boston Dynamics, and they like use their robots, and there was like almost like an experiment for them and like a test for them to see if they're.
This is so up my alley.
Yeah, it's cool. It's brutal. It's really dope. And it's the first season, and then watching it, I was like, shit, like they're not gonna be able to make another season forever because.
I know. I can't even. I like. My friend was on Friday, Assad, and he was saying how there's going to be tons more animation now.
Yeah.
Because no one can shoot. You forget about stuff like that. You need to all be together to make a TV series.
Yeah, and like that Lord of the Rings series is about to come out, and it's definitely not coming out anytime soon. Like all sorts of like stuff that'll probably be prolonged, unfortunately.
Thank God Game of Thrones ended before all.
Yeah, that's right.
Christopher and I fell down into I kind of did, and he just sat there with me. But last night I fell into an SNL sketch YouTube wormhole.
Nice.
For like a good 2 hours.
Nice. I've been getting into K-pop wormholes. I don't know why, but it's been.
That stuff fascinates me.
I can't stop looking away. I'm like, and then the next
It's so
video.
manufactured.
Yes, it's wild. It's so wild.
And it's like when they make it, they like know exactly how to like get into your brain and like get you hooked.
Yes, a lot to be studied from it, I think. I'm like,
Are you studying it for like music purposes, or you're just?
I'm not studying it. I'm just I'm just like.
You just like watch K-pop.
Yeah, I'm like, can I just? How fast can I consume this word? Let's just keep going, So I wish in my mind, I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm doing a little bit of studying, but I think I'm just blindly consuming, which is all right by me too.
My dad commented that he thinks Bagala has been mentioned on every single one of these broadcasts. Oh, yeah. He's probably right.
Yeah, I think you're the one who brings it up every time.
I know. I miss it so much. That was my little home.
I know. It's all right.
And I miss Bellow Luna a lot too. I didn't think I equally split my time between Bellow Luna and the Galway House. So, what have you or have you not been doing for your mental health? I like to ask every guest that because I think it's important to talk about.
What I have been doing is I've been working out like every day.
Manhattan Muscle Man.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's right. Maybe that's why I've been thinking about Manhattan bodybuilding. Because it might be my own reality soon. No, I'm just kidding. So I've been like working out every day, running, and running. Yeah, I've been running.
Really?
Every other day I've been running. Yeah, I got 2, and I'm asthmatic, so like I'm not the best, but I hit 2 miles today. I was pleased with myself. Boom. And so like that's been good for me. I've been trying to create every day. That's also been good for me. But also just trying to like I've been not successful at this fully, but been trying to not beat myself up if I'm not doing something every day. I've been playing a lot of video games, which has been nice. But probably the worst thing I've been doing for myself is like being just like totally way too focused on Twitter news, and just like first thing I do in the morning is like open up like Explore and just like, all right, what's the new fucked up shit about coronavirus? Like how or like
that's not that healthy, I will say.
It's terribly unhealthy. And like that
anxiety.
That's the worst. Yeah. So like I would say that's probably it. Everything else has been good, but like it's just like it's one of the first things I do in the morning, and like I've been actively trying not to. And then it's one of the first things I do, like kind of if I'm like lounging and I'm like, all right, cool. What?
Yeah.
But when everything first started, I was doing it way more aggressively.
Switch to TikTok.
What's that?
Switch to TikTok. Their conspiracy theory, like crowd is at least funny.
Yes, I know. Well, I've been on the TikTok too.
I've seen you on TikTok.
I've been on that too. But yeah, it's been, I don't know. That's probably the worst. It's just kind of like me not being able to block out the news, and just sort of, I don't know. And like I think probably getting like, I'm getting a little stir crazy now, but thinking about, the weirdest thing is seeing like my homies become Trump supporters. That's been like kind of the most.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, the weirdest transition I've been seeing recently is like my homies who are like anti-Trump become then like didn't believe coronavirus like sort of details and facts coming out, and then that evolved into somehow anti-media, which I understand. And then it turned into, oh no, Trump is actually a good guy, and the media is just making him out to be like some like the media is basically what Donald Trump has been saying. They're starting to believe now, and it's insane. When they went from super anti-Trump to now Trump supporters. Trump's not that bad of a guy because, man, you see what and I blame a lot of it on bad media coverage and bad like inability to report things accurately, and like quickly trying to jump on things so quickly. So that's been upsetting to me.
That's hard to deal with.
Yeah, but I see it a lot on my Facebook now, and I'm just like, damn, really? Like, you were not saying this like 2 months ago. That's the crazy 2 months have changed a lot. So yeah, it's been
Oh God.
yeah upsetting, but yeah.
Oh wow. All right. Well, I'll be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's coming. It's coming to your newsfeed soon. I
Oh my
guarantee.
God. All right. Well, for anyone watching who hasn't watched before, now or later, I like to give the guests the opportunity to have the final word because I feel like I talked enough during all of this. So I put on some sunglasses, I shut the hell up, and it's going to be David's chance to say something inspiring or tell a joke or play a song or shout people out or vent or yell. I don't care what he does, but it's your turn, David, so the floor is yours.
Well, I want to say I don't have jokes and I'm not playing any music. But
Show your muscles.
thank you to Kelly for allowing me to be on here. But thank you for like providing like something that people can look forward to on a consistent basis. And like whether what you said that not a lot of people have been tuning in, but like whatever, that's something that people like know that you're going to be doing this every day at noon. And that's important. That really is like that's important for people to have. It's important for people to have consistency and something to look forward to. And so like to you, but to also everybody else who's like, who, while they're probably going through it, are still, showing up and still going to work, whether that be somewhere or at home or whatever. These are like really tough, trying times. And, it's probably going to get a little worse in a bit, but I think it will get better soon, hopefully. And I think that as long as we're all super kind to each other and mindful of each other's space and being empathetic of our needs and wants, it'll all be okay. I hope. I think. But yeah, I don't know. That's basically it. I'm
good. That's inspiring and hopeful, which most people that have been on have been very like hopeful. So that's nice to hear and see. And thank you so much for doing this today, for taking an hour out of your day to hang out with me on Facebook Live.
My pleasure, yo. My pleasure.
And David has been helping me build a studio at the house for Christopher's birthday, so I want to thank him for that too.
Thanks for my Sweetwater t-shirt.
Shout out to Sweetwater.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on, and thank you everyone who people did watch today. So thank you for those who tuned in and liking and sharing and commenting and all of that fun stuff, watching now, watching later. I've had people tell me that they come home at night after work and they watch the show, so thank you. I don't know what's wrong with you, but
Word up.
David, before we go, where can we hear your music?
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. If you just search Lightfoot, it'll be right there. I have a new album coming out, a new EP coming out June 3rd.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, what's up?
I said, oh damn, I didn't know that.
Yes, with Autumn Theory, which is a record label out of Greece. So we out here, Lightfoot Beats on Instagram and all that stuff. So
get it. Well, thank you so much again for being on. And everyone, tomorrow I have a special guest, Boston City Councilor at Large Anissa Asabi George is going to be on. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. I bet it involves masks. She's been making thousands of masks for people at her small business in Dorchester, the Stitch House. So we'll find out all about that tomorrow at 12 o'clock right here. Until then, please stay home, stay healthy, stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask. It's the law now. And check out David's music, Lightfoot, on Spotify and all the other platforms. Bye.